Then I was reminded, and I'm thoughtful of this great philosopher. Oh my gosh, you all know him. Such a great philosopher. He had this, he philosophized. Yeah, I made that word up. I think it's not a real word through music. And one of the songs he used was, "Sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers." Yes, now you know the philosopher Garth Brooks. Yeah, that was a good one. And I thank God for unanswered prayers. All right. Well, welcome back to the Release Podcast. And part 2 of our discussion of hope. And a couple things, I guess, housekeeping. If you haven't listened to part 1, go do that. You'll definitely want to do that so you're not lost if you picked up here on episode 8. And I believe that we're on episode 8. And also, housekeeping, for those of you who are watching, you'll notice on the yesterday's, well, I recorded it yesterday, doing these back to back since it's still fresh in my mind. There was a segment where the light changed and everything got weird. Yeah, I lost power yesterday when I was recording, and that kind of threw a little monkey wrench in things. So had to do some clever editing, and my cleverness didn't work out so well. So if you're watching online and you're like, what is going on? How come the color just changed? Yeah, that was me. So I guess that's a little, I don't know, risk of what you do whenever you're dependent on internet, electricity, and all this fun stuff. And it's May in Oklahoma and there's storms. So yeah, and you can see that behind me in the window. So quick opener. So let's pick up where we left off. So I had said that, in that passage of Matthew 19, and I put up there 28 through 30, you kind of got to read the whole thing in context. But, Jesus said, I'll restore, whatever you forsake to follow me, I'll restore. And I left you saying that, I was thinking, hoping that he was just going to restore my marriage. But he did more than that. You see, in that moment, the heartache, the loss, and everything that was going on, I just wanted my marriage restored. And when I told you I was ugly crying, that was one of the things I was asking, just restore. And then he gave me that passage, and like I said, it gave me hope, right? Like hope. Okay, I have forsaken everything else. I've chosen Jesus. I have declared my allegiance and my alliance with Jesus. So he's going to restore my marriage. And that's what I clung to. That was my hope. And a couple weeks go by, and things very quickly pointed to, okay, my marriage is not going to be restored. Processing that. And then I heard Jesus say to me something else. And I heard him say this. I had come across this reading plan with the YouVersion Bible app. It's called Yellow Balloons. Funny name. But I read it, and it was exactly what I needed. And I know that Father, Jesus, Holy Spirit brought that to me because I needed to see my situation from a different perspective. So hope was there, right? Like Jesus had given me my hope. I had something to hold on to. So now my perspective is different. And as I'm clinging to hope, now I'm looking for it. Okay, he's going to restore. So now I went from this negative, hopeless mindset to now a hopeful mindset. I'm looking for what's he going to do? What's he going to do? So I found the plan Yellow Balloons, and I'm reading it. Really, really good. I think there's 3 of them. And then I heard Jesus say, Scott, I need you to stop grieving what you've lost and longing for what you've lost. And I need you to see what I freed you from. Now, if you're like me, when you just heard that, you probably paused, maybe caught your breath and go, wait a second. You said that Jesus said for you to think about what he freed you from. You're saying that Jesus freed you from your marriage? Nope, Scott, you didn't hear from you did. No, there's no way. He wouldn't say that he's freed you from your marriage, because again, if you come from a religious, Christian, whatever you want to call it, denominational background, that's a taboo thing to even hear. Scott, that's not right. Hang with me. because I argued with him for several weeks over that. I argued with myself, like, I'm not hearing from God. There's no way, like, no, God's not going to free me from my marriage. That's completely against everything I've ever heard and been told that the Bible says. That can't be true. But I continued going to him. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And in our discussions, he said, Scott, I want all people to come to me. My love, my gift, my hope for my creation people is that they find me. But Scott, it's a choice. Everyone gets to choose me. I'm here. Everyone gets to choose me, but I will not force anyone to choose me. Because if you force someone to choose you, that's not love. If you manipulate someone to choose you, that's not love. If you control people to make them docile or make you happy, that's not love. That's just control. That's just disgusting. It is. He goes, Scott, everyone gets to choose me. And you chose me. October of 2015, Scott, you chose me. I'd always chosen you, but you finally chose me. And yeah, it got hard. And yes, your freedom, releasing your past, all the things that held you in isolation, guilt, the pornography, all that stuff, whenever you came clean with that, when you no longer wanted to be burdened with that, and you told her, and you were honest, and you were authentic. You see, what happens when we become our authentic selves and we're no longer fearful and in guilt and need to hide and need to make excuses and pose, it makes those around us who are still doing those things extremely uncomfortable. And so, as I had gotten free, it cast a light in our home that was extremely uncomfortable for her, right? Because I am free in Jesus. Now, here's the thing. I am sure for her, she was like, what is going on? What is going on with him? He's different. I was. I don't like it. She didn't. In something she said it many times, and I've heard it since I've been on this journey from other men, from their wives. You're leaving me behind. You're making decisions and you're leaving me behind. Took me a while to process that because my heart was hurting. Like the last thing I wanted to do was hurt her. The last thing I wanted was for this encounter with Jesus and the freedom that I was having to cause more pain in our marriage that was already having issues. I was looking for it to all be redeemed, right? But my freedom was actually taking away her ability to control me, our marriage, our decisions, and the life that she wanted. Now, I don't know where you're at when you're hearing this. You may go, Scott, that sounds selfish. Like you just maybe you did leave her behind. I thought the same thing. Like, don't think I didn't struggle with this. Here again, this is why I'm so thankful for trusting and aligning with Jesus Christ in that hope. Because he also said, Scott, you're not leaving her behind. She refuses to move. She wants everything to stay the way it is. She wants this life. She wants what y'all have built to this point. And in truth, whenever I said earlier, I could have been a stronger man coming into the marriage, I could have been less of a doormat. I whatever she wanted, I gave her. I thought, and here's another big one, and she said it, and I felt it. If I'm not happy, you don't love me. I had spent my entire marriage with her just trying to make her happy. And I wanted to do that. I'm not sitting here saying, pointing fingers at her, right? Like I had my own fault in this. I didn't have good boundaries. I wasn't reasonable. I was just keep her happy, keep her happy, keep her happy. And I believe that, right? Like if she's not happy, then I'm doing something wrong. I must not love her. And she told me that, right? So kind of bringing this back around and Jesus bringing clarity, you're not leaving her behind. She refuses to move. She's not going to take this road. Scott, you've chosen allegiance to me. And you get all of the benefits that come with that, the freedom, the clarity, becoming an authentic man who knows how to love, who does know how to set boundaries. Yes, even with your spouse. And the boundaries aren't like, oh, no, this is my private time. Oh, no, that's what I'm talking about. These typically are just good communication, right? Like, hey, you're being disrespectful. And if you're disrespectful in the way that you talk to me, we're not going to have any progress in whatever it is we're talking about, right? So I didn't leave her behind. She refused to move. And so when I told you that, he said, Scott, you got to stop mourning what you've lost and you got to understand what I freed you from. I told you I struggled with that, but he did free me from it. She was never going to change with me in her life. She wasn't. In the marriage that we had, as I reflect on that, it was probably more of an arrangement. I'm trying to be very, very kind here because I want to be, right? Like I want to be kind. And so I may be talking a little slower in this one because I'm trying to think about a lot of things here, right? Um, for you, my listener, and I'm trying to share this story and I'm trying to be delicate because I'll also have to be mindful. What if she ever hears this, right? Remember the title of our podcast, the tagline, why? Unlock the freedom to rise. If she were to ever hear this, my hope, probably hard to hear, but I want her to have freedom because she is in bondage to a lot of things, right? But she wasn't going to change with me because our marriage was probably an arrangement. There was things that she wanted out of it. I told you guys about me, my faults of, well, going back to the pornography and that stuff. Well, I can't be this if I'm married. And there was a lot of disappointment in the marriage, a lot of things. Won't go into those details. It wasn't healthy. She wasn't going to change. She wasn't going to journey with me of following Jesus. She just wasn't. And so he freed me from that. So I made the decision. I'm all in. Jesus, I'm all in. I trust you. And when I realized that he wasn't going to restore that marriage, I eventually came to a place where I was at peace because I had my hope. I hoped for and I trusted in what he was going to do. Now, I made the decision, funny, thinking that I had any choice. I made the decision that I was going to stay single. I was living in Muskogee. At this time, still hoping I was going to get my sons, that they were going to be with me, and they were my life. I'm going to work. I'm going to take care of my sons and continue my journey of complete devotion to Jesus Christ. That's what I'm going to do. Clear path. Now, I want to be clear about something. When I say I made the choice, I did not choose to be divorced. I was committed to seeing this thing all the way through. I made a commitment. I made a covenant. So when I say that Jesus freed me, it's not like I went out and said, "Oh, I'm going to divorce her." Jesus said I could have a divorce. No, 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 no. That's not what happened. She chose that. I didn't. And I want to make that very, very clear because I don't want there to be the idea that, oh, Scott said he heard from Jesus and Jesus said he's free and he just divorced his wife and moved off. And no, that's not what happened. I told you the courts don't look favorably on dads. The outcome of that custody battle did not go like I had hoped. Right? There's that word, hope. Basically, I ran out of money. I can't tell you. I know it was well over $30,000 of what I spent between the divorce and all the times I was drugged to court over everything. It was just like, it'd just wear you down, right? Well over $30,000. I wanted my sons. But the way things worked out, the job she had, the fact that I was financially ruined, I ran out of money. I couldn't fight anymore for my sons. I didn't have the money to fight for my sons. Jesus continued to remind me, Scott, I got this. This doesn't look like what you thought. Scott, I got this. You have to trust me. I have this. I placed my hope in him because he had never disappointed me. Now, remember what I said. Hope does not mean everything goes the way you want. Disappointment is a part of this life. But I never lost hope. I just couldn't see where this was going. So I ended up with that dad that was getting my sons every other weekend. Drove an hour and a half for the exchange. My sons, man, it was so disruptive for them to have to go through all this. When the divorce happened, I believe they were 10 and 12. Thank goodness they weren't little. They were 10 and 12, but it was still so destructive. You know, things being the way that they were told things and they were stuck in the middle. It was hard. Man, I'm telling you, if you can avoid divorce, please do. Do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, especially if you have kids. You just have no idea what this does to them. But I kept my hope. I anchored to what he told me. Whatever you forsake to follow me, whether it be mother or father, whether it be child or possession or spouse, I will restore. And I just won't restore what you lost. I'll restore it 100 times. So I chose to be single. But I always had this question, right? Like, Jesus, you say you restore, like, what is a marriage restored 100-fold? Like, I would just like my marriage back and for things to be good. Like, that's what I thought I wanted. Then I was reminded, and I'm thoughtful of this great philosopher. Oh my gosh, you all know him. Such a great philosopher. He had this, he philosophized. Yeah, I made that word up. I think it's not a real word. Through music. And one of the songs he used was, sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers. Yes, now you know the philosopher Garth Brooks. Yeah, that was a good one. And I thank God for unanswered prayers because I'd pledged to be single. I thought that was the easy way out. And he orchestrated a few events. And then I met Lindsay. Wasn't looking to meet anyone. Like I told you, I'm going to be single, but some things happened. I met Lindsay. We knew of each other from when I lived in Muskogee. The church I was going to were 4 years apart. So she's 12, I'm 16. When I left, I was 21. So she would have been, 17? I knew of her. I didn't know her. She's a kid, right? Like, I'm not paying attention. But our paths had crossed in that time. What, 20 something years go by and our paths crossed. I'm resistant, but we met up and it wasn't like, ooh, I need to be with someone. Ooh, I'm looking for a companion. Like Jesus had fully healed my heart. I was completely content to be alone. But I met Lindsay, and Lindsay was completely content to be alone. So you had two whole people, wholly, WHOLLY, wholly content, and both of us hopeful and faithful and trusting what God had planned for our lives individually. So we connected, we had some conversations. Being the age that we are, it's like, I'm not looking to date, I'm not playing the field. If we're going to talk, well, we're going to talk about everything. We had very blunt conversations from the very, very beginning. And it didn't take long to realize that there was something there. So I'm not going to go through all the details, but this is where I reconnect how I left off in episode 1 or in part 1. Whenever I met Lindsay and whenever we realized we were going to become married and then when we got married, just hang with me here for a second. I understood what 100-fold looked like. You see, being married to Lindsay, I didn't have to perform. I didn't have to um, walk on eggshells. I didn't have to be afraid of my own feelings. Um, I had to learn to communicate, but it was a safe place to learn how to communicate, right? Because I brought in baggage. You don't go through 17 years of what I went through and not bring that across. And she's so kind. She's so, she had so much grace and understanding. And we are truly like, I don't want to say best friends because that just completely falls short. There's this word, ezer. It's two people that are meant to be helpers to each other. And that's what God gave me. And as you're sitting here listening to this, it's not like, okay, Scott, got to stop here. It's been sappy, man. I'm not trying to. Trust me, these aren't planned. But I want you to understand hope. Because if you don't have hope in something that you know is not going to fail, then what have you got? It becomes really easy to give up. And let me tell you, I still cringe. Like I absolutely cringe when I think about that moment whenever I was on the floor, ugly crying at my lowest point. I told you I never thought about taking my own life. But what if I had? What if I had? I would have missed Lindsay. I would have missed the relationship I have today with my sons. And let me tell you, that's another place where hope is so necessary. Because, yeah, it was ugly. My boys were told things about me that weren't true by their mom. by their mom's friends, by their mom's family. They were told I had abandoned them. And let me tell you, whenever your son looks you in the face and says, I hated you, Dad, because you left me. Oh, man, what do you do with something like that? Dad, when you left, there were things that happened, and I blamed you for it. What do you do with that? I mean, you want to talk about an opportunity for hopeless to move in? Because my sons hated me. They believe that their dad left their mom. They believe that their dad uh, was a Jesus freak. And they were also taught to believe that Jesus, the way that their dad followed, is something they didn't even want to be a part of. People were told that I had become part of a cult, a extreme lunatic fringe cult, and that I wasn't following Jesus. I was following the devil, and that I was an extremist. All these things. And I'm sitting here going, this is what it looks like to follow Jesus. It's kind of sucks. But if I didn't have something to hope in, then what do? Right? And I get it. Man, it's so easy to be judgmental. I used to see people, they'd get divorced, and then like 2 or 3 months later, they're hooked up with someone else, and then hooked up with someone else. And I was like, it's very easy, if you've never been in this situation, to be extremely judgmental. And boy, the religious are really, really good about throwing stones. And yeah, some got thrown at me. If you've never been in that situation, you don't understand. The loneliness is unbearable. And yeah, oh my gosh, can't tell you. Thank God I had God. Oh yeah, I'll go to the club. I'll go to the club. Just, and it's not like you're looking for sex. You're just looking for companionship, some type of intimacy. It's lonely. And I don't have my sons. And oh man, all the questions. Is it my fault? All the doubts that come through. Yeah, I get it. You know what? Screw this whole Jesus thing. Forget it. Screw the life of purity. I'm just going to go satisfy my own needs. Jump from one woman to the next, get what you need. Hmm. Alcohol, yeah, it can numb the pain. Drugs, marijuana, everyone's doing it. So what do you got? Where's your hope? So that's my answer to the question. Of everything I know, the only thing that has not disappointed me is the hope that I have in Jesus, my Father, and Holy Spirit. I have not once been let down. Not once. What I have with Lindsay is something I can't even explain. And people have said it many times. We don't tell our story to just anyone. We guard it carefully. When I'm around you two, there's just peace. The way you guys are together, it's what 100-fold looks like. My relationship with my sons, I never thought I would have. I thought I'd lost my sons. We've had to rebuild. I've had to learn. There aren't instruction booklets for being a great dad. I've made mistakes. But I have a relationship with my sons, and we talk. I encourage them to listen to this podcast, right? Like we've talked about that. Zane, my youngest, I'm excited. He's going to be on here with me as a guest one day. And so will Zach. Zach and Zane will be on here as guests. I look forward to that day. It's the hope. Jesus, Father, Holy Spirit have restored everything that I've lost, and they are still restoring. Friendships that I had lost, He has replaced with authentic people. Lies that were told about me have been disproven. I have a woman that I can't even fully put into words the blessing she is. The way her family treats me and accepts me. And here I am, out of time. You have to know where to put your hope. Like I said, I'm not trying to convince you. This isn't like put on the waterworks and make you feel guilty or be compelling to bring you to my Jesus. No. I just don't know what else there is. Because I've tried everything else. And in this world that we live in today, you have got to have something to hope in, to anchor you, because it's not going to get any better. And this is not doomsday, gloom and doom. That's not what this is. This is an impassioned, transparency and a hope that this encourages you, this emboldens you, and unlocks the freedom to rise. I guess we'll end it there. I'll see you on the next podcast.